respected members of Pakistani American community, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to all of you. On behalf of the Consulate General of Pakistan in New York, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all at this special reception in the honor of Mr. Ahsan Iqbal. We are delighted to see such a distinguished gathering representing different walks of life. Your presence reflects the strength, unity, and commitment of Pakistani American community. To begin this blessed gathering, I would like to invite Mr. Atif Raja. Please come forward for the recitation of the Quran.
Stop. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون والله الخالق البارئ المسبح له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you. It is now my honor to invite His Excellency Ambassador Islam Seychelles, Ambassador of Pakistan to the United States, to deliver his remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to all. Minister Ahsan Iqbal sir, former Minister for the Streets, sir, ladies and gentlemen of the community in New York, Rahman sir, you just joined us. Thank you. In welcoming you to this event today, let me briefly mention that Minister Ahsan Iqbal has been here for about a week. And this is my 7th year of stay in United States, if you count my previous tenure as Deputy Ambassador. So I have not seen this kind of a visit where any visiting minister has gone to not only so many states, it started in Orlando, then Chicago, then San Francisco, then Houston, and went to Dallas, and now he's in New York, and there's still 2 more to go. So not only that this has been a program which has a wide geographical dispersal, the content has been fascinating, honestly. In terms of, I just joined him in Chicago and went back to other things in Washington and now in New York. But our consul generals have been formulating that program and going through that program and the kind of results and reports that we have received in terms of the content and the follow-up of the content that is required. I was discussing with the head of the Urdu Pakistan program here, Dr. Kamran Rao, is so rich that perhaps it may turn out to be a most consequential in terms of whatever we have thus far had from Pakistan, that in terms of the diversified areas where we hope to see these results. So thank you, Minister, for being here. I also thank Mr. Dastagir, for being here. He is a former defense minister, former foreign minister, and has been also Minister for Energy.
For my sins, yes.
So we are also honored by his presence here. So what I will do is that I get a lot of opportunities to talk. So this time it is, I think, important for Mr. Ahsan Iqbal and Mr. Dastagir to share their perspectives of how best the Pakistani community, and particularly Pakistani community in this most important city in this land of opportunity, can contribute towards an unprecedentedly ascendant trajectory of Pak-US relations and benefit, profit, I would want to say, profit from the promise of Pakistan. So I'll give you these two ministers 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Sir, for your remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege to invite Mr. Dastagir Khan, former Federal Minister of the distinguished parliamentarian, to share his remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm deeply grateful to the consulate. Practically has kidnapped me to be here. I was on a personal visit, but since I heard that my brother Ahsan Iqbal was here, and of course, I join all of you in our desire to hear from him, who's also, of course, a professor, for his wisdom and insight into his visit and for the trajectory of Pakistan-US relations, as the Honorable Ambassador pointed out. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't have any answers for you this afternoon. That's what we look to the Honorable Minister for, that he will provide the answers or at least a guideline towards the future. But I do want to very brief remarks based upon what the English poet Arthur Hugh Clough said. The line is, if hopes were dupes, fears may be liars. So while we are all here and many of us are veterans in dealing with how Pakistan is governed, will be governed. While many of our hopes have been disappointments, but I do want to say that many of our fears have proven incorrect. So the country has survived, alhamdulillah. It is moving forward, and it is now, I think, in the summer and coming autumn of 2026, a unique opportunity because what my elder brother Ahsan Iqbal has been saying very regularly, that the country needs political stability. I would submit, ladies and gentlemen, that stability has been achieved to some degree. It's no longer a distant dream to say that, Pakistan should have stability. There is stability in the country. And I think the great challenge is that how do we go forward and use this opportunity in which, by a near miracle, I would say, although an engineer like me doesn't believe in miracles, but it does seem a miracle, this upswing in Pakistan-US relations, which has come after the longest time. And who knew in May? I do ask many people that if you can imagine the Pakistan of May the 5th, 2025, Marka hadn't happened yet. So there was a dejected and disappointed and divided country that we have. And now, a year later, just over a year later, we have a country that has done great things. So when I say that fears may be liars, ladies and gentlemen, the last year, through the leadership of Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir, we have cause to be proud of our country. We haven't had for a long time. And Cassandra, they're all the same thing. They're awful, going bad. And for once, I am delighted to note that Allah Almighty's blessing, that all the Cassandra, the naysayers, have been proven wrong. And not only this winning the war against India, but this very material MOU between the United States and Iran is something that no one, I would say, including myself, no one could have foreseen in January 2024. So, this faith that we need to have in our country, this confidence that we need to have in our country, and of course, this faith and confidence should spur us to greater and more vigorous efforts instead of just criticizing and saying, this is wrong, that isn't working. I mean, there's plenty wrong in this country. That would require another very long speech. But that doesn't mean that the people in this country have given up. My great disappointment in Pakistan has been that so many Pakistanis seem to have given up. So, as I said, we wait for Professor Ahsan Iqbal to provide us the answers. But I just would request and urge you to have a renewed confidence in Pakistan. One of the founders of this very country where we are, Thomas Paine, who said, we can begin the world anew. So, in mid-2026, as we are gathered here, I have every confidence that whatever mistakes, issues, crises, shortcomings, that we can together begin Pakistan anew with great confidence, faith in ourselves, faith in our fellow Pakistanis, and go forward. So the final thing I want to say is that before I invite Professor Ahsan Iqbal to come to the podium, is that many people ask me, does PMLN have a think tank? I said, yes, we do. We have a two-person think tank, that is me and Ahsan Iqbal. And ladies and gentlemen, since I'm from Gujarat, I say he's the think and I'm the tank. It also works because I have been Pakistan's defense minister also. And he's been planning this. So he's the thing and I'm the tank. And that's PMLN think tank. And that is how we have been working for a very long time. So it is my tremendous pleasure to be with Professor Ahsan Iqbal again and who has been actually been engaged with academia for a long time. He's been part of it also. So he's been engaged with academia. He is open to new ideas, new ways of doing things. Ladies and gentlemen, with this hope that we can once again believe in our country, believe in Pakistan, I invite Professor Ahsan Iqbal to the podium. Pakistan, Bindabad, Bamai.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Ambassador Rizwan Sheikh Saab, dear brother Mr. Saab, Dr. Rahul Khandan Saab, distinguished members of Pakistani American diaspora, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to welcome you to your own home. This consulate is your own home in America. And we welcome you here. It is always a pleasure to meet Pakistani diaspora in USA because it gives one two feelings. One, pride and second, hope. Pride because each one of you represents a success story. Each one of you has proven that what is Pakistani nation capable of doing. Our diaspora here has risen to highest offices. They run most advanced hospitals. They work on most advanced infrastructure projects. They are part of the most advanced tech companies and innovation. They have their footprint in education sector. In every sector of economy, our businessmen here have built billion-dollar companies. So each and every American Pakistani is a pride for Pakistan and showcases the potential of Pakistan. And one also gets hope that if Pakistanis are capable of doing so well, we can also replicate this success back home. That we can do equally well as a country, inshallah, and make Pakistan a really proud nation and country. Unfortunately, while we were able to achieve great successes in our history, if we compare Pakistan from 1947 to 2026, we have come a long, long, long way. And we can very rightfully feel very proud that Pakistan has accomplished much in many areas. A country that started its journey without any resources, which did not even have common pen in its offices, is today seventh nuclear power. A country that could not even manufacture a bicycle today produces GF-17 Thunder aircrafts that shoot down Indian planes like birds. Have achieved a great deal in education and health and infrastructure. But when we shift our reference to Pakistan versus the world, the story changes. In 1980, our per capita income was $300 and China's per capita income was $200. Today, China's per capita income is $16,000 and ours is $1,600. In 1990, Pakistan's exports were $6 billion. Vietnam's exports were $2.5 billion. Today, Vietnam exports more than $450 billion and we only export $40 billion. So the story can go on and on. We saw many countries which were far behind us overtake us. So the natural question that comes to each and every Pakistani's mind is, what was it that we lacked? Was it competence? Was it lack of planning? Was it a lack of resources? Was it lack of commitment? I think, in my opinion, Pakistan lacked none of these compared to these countries. We were committed. We had very good plans. We have been blessed with all kinds of resources, and our people are super intelligent. But if you look at these successful countries and our own country, what we find that while we were able to make good plans, we failed in creating the right ecosystem that translates any good plan into delivery. And all these countries were able to develop the right ecosystem which enabled them to achieve desired results. And my favorite example is always one of the seed. You may have the best of the best seed, but that seed is no guarantee of the harvest unless you provide an enabling environment. And once you plant the seed, you give soil stability for seed to germinate, to grow into a plant and grow the fruit that you want to harvest. But if after planting the seed, you will again plow the land, the seed will never germinate. Yes, it will never give you any fruit. So therefore, unfortunately, Pakistan's checkered political history, where we made the plans, but plans were not given the opportunity to grow and give results. That was fundamentally the difference that made other countries move forward and be like that. In 1990-91, under Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's government, Pakistan was the first country in South Asia to introduce new economic reforms, deregulating the economy, introducing privatization, introducing liberalization of economy. And those policies were at that time copied by India. Mr. Manmohan Singh, who was the finance minister, got SROs of those policies from Mr. Sartaj Aziz, who was our finance minister. And India followed those policies for the next 10 years. And in our country, we dismissed the government in 2 years. And with that, government also threw out those reforms into the dustbin. In 97, 98, we had Vision 2010. We were the first country in South Asia to have a long-term plan like that. But in 2 years, there was martial law, which again threw the plan into dustbin and it could not come. In 2013, we again came back into government. At that time, country did not have electricity for 20 hours. Not a day would pass when the suicide bomber would not blow himself in some part of the country. Karachi had virtually become hostage and victim to crime and terrorism. And any day, if we had single-digit killings in Karachi, people would take sigh of relief that today is a peaceful day. Otherwise, there were double-digit killings every day, Bori, Bangladesh, and target killings and all sorts of things. So from there, again we picked up the thread, and within 4 years, 11,000 megawatt energy generation was added to the grid. Pakistan fought terrorism through Operation Zarbul Fasad and Zarbiyaz, as a result of which we had zero terrorism by 2017-18, and all these terrorists ran to Afghanistan to find sanctuary. CPAC became our driver. Within 3 years, we got $25 billion worth of investment from China. And in 2017, PricewaterhouseCoopers projected that Pakistan is well on its way to be among the top 20 economies by 2030. This is not government saying, but it was PwC making that projection. But in 2018, we again caused disruption, and government was dislodged. A new government was installed with no experience of running the government. In 4 years, we saw 5 finance ministers come and go. And the new government reversing all the policies. that previous government had started, and the biggest victim became the CPAC. And the point came that on 1st April 2022, country almost internally defaulted. Government had not yet changed. Finance Ministry for the first time in country's history said it is not going to release single rupee for the last quarter installment of development budget because it has no money. This had never happened, even at the time when we had nuclear sanctions imposed on us. We were able to fund our development budget for the whole year. So that is the time when international community and in financial circles started betting that how long would it take for Pakistan to default on external liabilities. And at that moment, we took over the government and we had two choices. Either to go into election immediately, because you would recall that by April 2022, every by-election that was held in the country was won by opposition. That showed that opposition at that time was at the peak of its popularity, and the sitting government was at its lowest ebb of popularity. So if we had gone straight into election, we could have easily returned with two-thirds majority. But when we looked at the numbers, we got the feedback that country does not have even 2 or 3 months space to go into caretaker neutral setup, because caretaker government cannot take any policy decision. And the country needed immediate corrective actions in order to avoid default. And default of a nuclear country is very different from default of Sri Lanka, has much larger consequences. So the choice was that should we go for protecting our politics, or should we go for protecting country from default? But if we were to protect country from default, then we would have to take some tough decisions. You know, those of you who are doctors, if there is a critically ill patient, that patient cannot be cured with candies and chocolates. That patient has to take some bitter pills or undergo surgery, which is painful, and then you recover. So that painful surgery would eat up our political capital. We knew very well. But I think we must give credit to the collective leadership and to the leadership of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who took this challenge upon himself that no matter if our political capital is compromised, we will not let Pakistan default and we will take out Pakistan. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we speak today, in last 4 years, Pakistan is being quoted as one of the most successful turnaround stories in international financial markets. A country that was running with 38% inflation was able to bring it down to 5 to 7% in 2 years. A country that was running 23.5% policy rate was able to bring down policy rate to 10.5% in almost 2 years. Likewise, country whose stock market had virtually crashed was able to revive the stock market and confidence of the investors. And today that stock market is being called the best performing stock market in Asia. These were, I think, those positive developments that happened to bring country out of that default situation that required a lot of disciplined hard work and reform in various sectors, but some very painful decisions which we endured. Second, India thinking that Pakistan has become economically very vulnerable, tried to make an example of Pakistan in 2025. But again, we had a government where there was complete understanding between political and military leadership. That government did not ponder even for a second how to respond and how to respond. It immediately reacted, and instead India making an example of Pakistan, we made India an example of itself. And as a result, Pakistan earned new stature in the Committee of Nations and was seen by global powers as a net security and stability provider in the region. That also ultimately led to a defense pact between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. And as a result of that new role, Pakistan was also able to do another impossible task, as my colleague mentioned, that it was able to bring two countries that had been at war directly or indirectly for last 47 years, directly from war theater to Islamabad Serena Hotel, where they sat for the first time face to face for negotiation. And we showed to the world that war is not a solution for every problem. Diplomacy can also be a solution, and that brought a new image for Pakistan as a peacemaker, as an honest broker of peace, and it got recognition across the world for the first time, at least in my lifetime. I never saw that starting from President of United States to President of China to President of Russia to Prime Minister of UK, to Prime Minister of Canada, to Prime Minister of Japan and Australia, and name any head of state. The whole world and all heads of states were praising Pakistan. I have never seen in my life that international media, which was always casting Pakistan very negatively, was globally projecting Pakistan as a peacemaker and celebrating Pakistan's diplomatic. That not only increased Pakistan's stature, but made every Pakistani stand taller and with pride. When we were, traveling from Columbus, Ohio to, it was, I think, Columbus to Chicago, there was rush on the airport. And the ground staff, when we told them that we are an official delegation from Pakistan and we are traveling and we have little time, that staff went out of way, said, "You are from Pakistan, you did great job, and let me help you." So, military lane and cleared all our procedures very fast. So I was very happy to see that even an ordinary American recognizes Pakistan's role and appreciates Pakistan's value. So now, narrating all these successes, what I want to say, that we cannot be complacent. What these successes have done, they have put a lot more responsibility on our shoulders as a nation. Because if we won Marka-e-Haq, it was great. If we won Marka-e-Diplomacy, that was even greater success. But now, if we do not win Marka-e-Tarakki, we stand to lose all the gains that we have made in our victories through these markers. So that is where the real challenge now lies. That we have to focus on Pakistan's economic development with full energy, and we have to work through unity and as Team Pakistan. Because this is an effort or a venture that no government, no leader, and no party can do it alone. It requires whole of the nation approach. And unless we are able to positively synergize our efforts, unless each and every Pakistan believes that now I am part of a bigger mission, national mission, to make Pakistan's economy invincible, we will not be able to achieve success. And I can share with you a story. When we exploded nuclear device in 1998, Dr. A.Q. Khan and Dr. Ishfaq Ahmed came to my office for some work. So I asked them that, can you please explain to me that how was it that we were able to achieve success in an area where no one wanted to give us any technology, no one was willing to help us, and we made it, we did it. But there are other areas where international community is wanting to help us, education, health, industry, blah, blah, blah. They also give us a lot of money to support us, but we are unable to do it. So what do you think was the reason? So they gave 5, 6 reasons. And one of the reasons they gave was that we had a shared mission across our organization. From janitor to the bus driver who drove our scientists from Rawalpindi or Islamabad to our office, to our principal engineers and chairmen, everyone believed that he or she is part of a national mission. Even janitor thought that he is part of making the bomb. So this sense of shared purpose and mission gave us that energy and that positive synergy that enabled us to overcome all obstacles. And secondly, they said it was not the machines that made the bomb. It was our people who made the bomb. So nations are not built by machines. Nations are built by its own people. We are the builders of Pakistan. What we do today will determine what Pakistan will be tomorrow. So I think Allah has given us a unique opportunity where Pakistan is enjoying unprecedented first and foremost challenge that we face is exports. Why we have failed to develop as fast as other countries is because we failed to develop our exports as fast as other countries. Every time we grow, there is an appetite for imports, but correspondingly we are unable to earn dollars to pay for the imports, and we have to apply brakes and crash them. So this boom and bust cycle can only end if we can exponentially grow Pakistani exports. So we have set a target that by 2035 we must cross $100 billion export target. So USA are one of the major, rather the biggest export market, but we are still much underrepresented in the sectors where we export. So I think Pakistani diaspora is very uniquely placed. You know the market here, you know your country. So I would say that you all have to become uh, sales agents or marketeers for Pakistan to make sure that we can get greater access and we have more penetration into US markets through Pakistani products, and we can make Pakistan, made in Pakistan, a quality brand and a leading brand in USA. So that is, to me, the first and foremost challenge we face at home and abroad. And Pakistani diaspora can really help to become bridge between international markets and production at home. The second challenge that we face is a challenge that every country is facing today. The world is now entering into a new age, which is AI-led age. When we graduated, it was PC and internet revolution that was the disruptor. But now it is artificial intelligence that is a new disruptor, and people say is a bigger disruptor than internet. So we have to get ready for it. And we can only get ready if we are able to develop new skills, new capabilities, understand the challenge or the dynamics of this change, and position ourselves in a manner where we don't become victim of the change, rather we are able to take advantage of this change. This again would require very high quality human resource to imagine this change and to help develop technology linkages that will enable Pakistan to adopt AI faster and to equip itself with the new skills. So again, in USA, we have best of our best IT, AI talent, and that talent, I think, can play a big role by developing partnerships and bringing back knowledge that will enable us to make this transition faster. At home, this is our number one priority. We are investing heavily in equipping our youth in digital skills. On a lighter note, I would say that our vision of future is not giving our youth katas and katis. We want to give them digital skills. So, with other countries also, like China, we recently signed 2 agreements to train 300,000 young boys and girls in digital skills. With USA, we have revived US-Pakistan Knowledge Corridor to send our best and brightest to the leading universities here so that we can have high quality human resource that can make Pakistan move forward in this new techno economy. In my recent visit, I had the opportunity to meet some of the leaders of these institutions, and I'm happy to report in Chicago, when I met University of Illinois, Chicago, we developed understanding with their School of Medicine that will help us take robotic surgery to Pakistan. And we made a link with PKLI, and they also agreed to train Pakistani surgeons in application of state-of-the-art new generation of robotic surgery, which can actually revolutionize healthcare in Pakistan. The surgeon sitting in Lahore can perform surgery in Narwal or Lodra through robotic surgery. Similarly, another good news is that when I met Illinois Institute of Technology president, we agreed that IIT, which is one of the leading technology universities like Georgia Tech, Caltech, and others, he agreed to open IIT campus in Pakistan. That would be, leading US university that will go to Pakistan. Number of them have gone to India. They are already in Bombay, but they agreed to come to Pakistan. Similarly, with University of Chicago, we had an understanding to place more doctoral students there and undertake joint programs. I'm going to Cornell University day after, where we are signing an MOU to link their innovation center with innovation innovation in Pakistani universities, how we can replicate that model in Pakistan. Then day after, MIT and Harvard. So we are trying to build all these connections and connect the dots so that we have those partnerships that will enable us to produce high quality human resource that will take us into the next phase of development. 3, environment and climate change is Pakistan's third biggest challenge. We are among the top 10 most vulnerable countries to climate change. For no fault of us, our global greenhouse gas emission is less than 1%, but we are among the top 10. So we have, either we look at others or we do something about it. In 2022, we found that the world has no climate justice, and we are all on our own. So we are now focusing on water security and food security. We sent about 1,000 agriculture experts to China to get training in the new digital and other technologies that are being applied into agriculture for increasing productivity, for new seed development. And likewise, we are also connecting with leading agriculture universities in USA to develop new capability for another green revolution 2.0. USA was, responsible for bringing green revolution in 60s when they helped us develop Maxi Park and other varieties. So now we hope that we can do it again. The fourth challenge that Mr. Dastagir also mentioned is energy sector. Our dependence on foreign oil has exposed our vulnerability again during this Iran-US war. We are working very aggressively to make a transition towards renewables. Pakistan is one of the success stories that has made a transition to solar, adding more than 6,000 megawatts in past 4 years. But now we are moving with the same speed, hoping to move with the same speed in transport sector. This year budget has introduced many incentives for EVs in the country. So we hope over the next 5 years, we should have a considerable number of vehicles shift to EV to save our fuel bill and also make environment better. The fifth E is most crucial, where now we are really focused and we are trying to bring provinces on consensus that they should work with the federal government through a national mission. The 18th Amendment that happened in 2010 has devolved many subjects to provinces where the federal government has little role. And all these subjects which were devolved are largely relate to social sectors, education, health, population. We have a population growth rate of 2.55%, which has increased from 2.4% in 2017. So what it showed the last census, we have now, brakes se pair utha ke accelerator pe dal diya. So that we need to arrest immediately because no country has grown with that kind of population growth. So, the Prime Minister has recently constituted a National Population Council in which all chief ministers are members, and we hope that over the next 2 to 3 years we will try to bring down population growth rate to around 2% and then gradually to 1.5%. We also face the challenge in education and health. No country has developed unless it is achieved 90% literacy rate. Our literacy rate is 63%. So again, we are working with the provinces that they need to speed up education and literacy in their provinces so that we at least have 90% literacy, without which, you cannot really claim that we can run the race of development too far, because human resource development is key to development in future. This key of equity deals with education, health, and population, as well as empowerment of women and youth, who are, I think, two principal drivers for us in future. Our women have 23% workforce participation rate. We ought to go beyond 50% if we have to grow and also control population growth. So there again, we have ambitious plan for women empowerment and creating job opportunities for them, and likewise for the youth, which is 60% of our population. So this 5 E's framework is our model under Udan Pakistan, on which government is working with the provinces, and we hope that by 2035, if we follow this path, we can very well become a $1 trillion economy. But if we continue on business as usual model, then by 2035 we could be just $650 billion. But with the population load that we have, that would be a disaster. So between $650 billion to $1 trillion, where we go will depend on our national resolve to achieve those goals, and on our, maybe that is also coefficient of our national leadership, that how much can we do or how fast can we grow or run to achieve our full potential. So the potential is we can be a $1 trillion economy, and if we didn't do much, we would be $650 billion economy, which would be a disaster with our population. So therefore, this, ladies and gentlemen, is an inflection point for us as a nation. Where we go from here will depend on the choices we make. Do we want to repeat the mistakes of the past, where we have been indulging in unnecessary political crisis, instability, polarization, or we want to tread the path of stability, continuity of policies, and reform and modernization? This is the choice. Destiny is nothing for a man or for a nation except the choices he or she makes or the nation makes. So I think the time has come. We have to get serious, and we all have to work as Team Pakistan. And if we can devote next 10 years, at least with this focus that we will not deviate from the path that we have started, there is no reason that Pakistan should not become a $1 trillion economy by 2035. But it will require each one of us to find a role for himself or herself. Not everyone can make $1 billion contribution. Maybe someone can make $100 contribution, someone can make $1 million contribution. But each one of us must think that the next 10 years, how am I going to be the builder of new, stronger Pakistan, which will win the market directly, to make sure that the gains that we have made are consolidated in our government. Lastly, I would like to urge you that we must also reset our software. Unfortunately, so much negativity has been fed into us that we have lost our pride. We have lost our self-esteem. I go out to different countries and often hear, wherever 4 or 5 people will gather, they will start a Muqabla Husn of who has a horror story to tell about Pakistan. और जो जितनी ज्यादा बदखोई करेगा वो समझता है मैंने उतनी ज्यादा दानिशवरी की ताकत दिखाई. I mean, nobody ever says anything nice about their country. There is so many nice things happening, success stories in the country, which we, if we look, will make us very proud what we have achieved. So I think, if you look at any country where we are sitting or any other country, every country has glass half empty and glass half full. And if you just want to keep cribbing about glass half empty, you can never achieve anything. I think we need to look at the glass half full and get motivated and try to fill the remaining glass, and that will certainly, inshallah ta'ala, enable us to achieve what we desire for ourselves. Lastly, I want to give you one food for thought. We all have families. Can you tell me any family where there is no conflict, where there is no difference of opinion? Every family has difference of opinion. Every family has some kind of a conflict. But do you ever go out and put a poster in the marketplace और somewhere that जी आज मेरी बीवी ने मेरे से बड़ी झगड़ा किया, मैं बाजार में इश्तेहार लगाने आया, आज मेरे शौहर ने मुझसे बड़ी बदतमीजी की है, मैं पोस्टिंग है पोस्टर, आज मेरे बड़े भाई ने 2 चपेड़े मारी हैं मुझे, मैं इश्तेहार लगाने आया. I mean, even if we have an argument, we try to make sure कि जो हमसाया है, जो नेबर है, उसको आवाज ना जाए, उसको ये ना पता चले कि इनके घर के अंदर फसाद भी होता है. We protect the dignity of our family. What kind of politics is this? That we are washing our dirty linen on the streets of Washington, Chicago, San Francisco, London, Europe, in international politics. Are we equally sincere to our country like we are sincere to our families? अपनी फैमिली में तो जो भी कोई तलखी होती है अपने घर के अंदर ही दबाते हैं, और अपने मुल्क की जो तलखी है उसका इश्तिहार जाके बाहर लगा के खुद ही अपने हाथों से पाकिस्तान को डीब्रांड करते हैं. What kind of politics? I mean, I went through everything. I was victim of the hate speech that was done by someone in Pakistan, and I have a bullet in my body that still is I'm carrying. But I have never gone out and said this is what happened to me in Pakistan. I was put in jail by a gentleman for no rhyme or reason on a false case. And Mr. Shahzad Akbar, who was the accountability czar on Geo said, confessed that I told our leader that this case against him, Ahsan Iqbal and Shahid Khan are bogus cases and they will not stand a test of law, so we should withdraw them. And he said, so we were victims of that biyaniya. We suffered, our family suffered. I am educated in the United States. I know how to approach each and every congressman and senator. मैंने तो कभी किसी कांग्रेसमैन और सेनेटर का दरवाजा नहीं खटखटाया, माई बाप बचाओ जेल में फेंक दिए, मुझे बड़े बुरे लगे. वो बल्कि वो हमें जब जेल से लेके जाते थे, तो I used to wear suit and tie. So one day superintendent asked me कि सर हम तो आपका रिमांड लेने जा रहे हैं, आप तो ऐसे स्टेशन से जाते हैं जैसे किसी शादी में जाना है. मैंने कहा यार हमारे पंजाब में कहते हैं कि शरीकियां ने जाना ज्यादा साज बच के जाना. We enjoy that activity, it's part of the game. लेकिन never ever made any petition outside Pakistan. Because why should we defame Pakistan? It is our own internal matter. Each one of us, every leader went to jail. Neither Nawaz Sharif, nor Shehbaz Sharif, nor Khaja Asif, nor Rana Sanawallah, nor Khaja Sadr, nor anyone. Nobody ever, we have our sympathizers here, but nobody ever made a protest outside White House. Nobody ever made any protest outside House of Lords or House of Commons and Parliament House. Why? Why should we defame Pakistan? हाँ, झगड़ा है, मुल्क के अंदर अपनी अदालत है, अपनी पार्लियामेंट है, अपनी सड़कें, उधर ही लड़ेंगे, उधर ही जीतेंगे. लेकिन मुल्क से बाहर सिर्फ पाकिस्तान है, पाकिस्तान. That should be the story. We don't need enemies. अगर हम एक दूसरे को नीचा दिखाएंगे पाकिस्तान से बाहर we have to have one face, and that is only Pakistan. And I always say that we may have different addresses. हमारे पते जुदा हो सकते हैं, लेकिन डाकखाना हम सबका पाकिस्तान है. उसमें we cannot compromise. Please, my humble request to you is that I would never say कि सारे के सारे बाजमात हमारी जमात में शामिल हो जाएं या किसी और जमात में शामिल हो जाएं. You are all entitled to hold your opinions. लेकिन खुदा के लिए एक बात को ना भूलें कि having different opinion does not make anyone lesser Pakistani than you. To be equal, we don't have to be same. We can be different and yet we can be equal Pakistan. We can be different, yet that ability to work together for Pakistan should not go. We should not be so polarized that we cannot even sit together. We cannot even go together to our congressman or senator for any issue that relates to Pakistan. Balki we go and poison the congressman and senator. I don't think this any country does in the world that we have been doing. So this polarization has to come down. Misinformation we have to fight with evidence. आज आप देखें कि हमारे फौज की और फील्ड मार्शल साहब की पूरी दुनिया की सजा पड़ रही है, बात नहीं, लेकिन कुछ हल्के हैं कि जो अपने रियासत के इदारों के खिलाफ वो कुछ किरदार कुशी कर रहे हैं कि I think even Raw cannot imagine that kind of character. So is this Pakistani? What kind of Pakistani are we? So I think we have to grow and come out of this kind of polarization, and we all are just Pakistanis. Pakistan, आज अगर पाकिस्तान को अच्छा दिन मिला है तो ये तो नहीं है कि मुस्लिम लीग नून वाले की पाग ऊंची हो गई और पीटीआई वाले की पाग नीची हो गई है, या एक जमात की ऊंची हो गई दूसरे की नीची हो गई है. Every Pakistani today feels pride and takes pride जब वो अपना पासपोर्ट जाके दे देता है I'm from Pakistan. I have heard dozens of stories कि इन सारी चीजों के बाद हमारे लोग बाहर गए तो उन्होंने पासपोर्ट दिया तो इमिग्रेशन ऑफिस ने कहा वेल डन पाकिस्तान. पाकिस्तान आगे जाएगा हम सब we all stand to benefit. अगर खुदा ना खास्ता खराब होगा तो हम सब की इज्जत खराब होगी. तो इसलिए आइए let's all work together. My request to you is get in your area, pick up a field, pick up one thing where you can make a difference. No matter how small, no matter how big. But we all have to capitalize on this inflection point to Pakistan. Going down is no more an option. In 22 years, we will all be accountable before history when 2047 comes. How we utilize our 100 years and how our neighbor utilize its 100 years. Let us all work for this one mission. In 2047, our children should not be embarrassed if we failed to achieve what we were capable of achieving in our 100 years of independence. Pakistan Zindabad.